Well, good morning and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. And as the title says, I'm possible. Why am I misspelling impossible for I'm possible? Well, if you have ever felt like you have hit a wall with something, maybe there's something that you wanted to achieve, or you are looking for some self-motivation to get going, keep going, continue going, then this Facebook Live is not just for you. This video may also be for somebody that you're connected to that you don't even know needs this type of motivation. So thank you so much for those of you who watch live. I so appreciate you getting up to watch these at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. So if you are like some of the people who actually watch this while it's streaming and live, and you ask questions, put your comments and say hi, like Alan, good morning Alan, and Teresa, so I'm saying good morning to you as well, Teresa. And we've got the lovely Ivona who says, morning Jenny, morning all. So thank you so much for watching. And by the way, if you prefer just to watch in the background, that's also fine too. So today's is titled I'm Possible. And after quite a magical, I think, sequence of events since last week, I thought I would just share an insight of something that I've watched recently, and something that I hope will get you your own self-motivation. Because here's the thing, nobody can give you motivation, nobody can make you feel motivated, nobody can force you to do something. Motivation really does come from within, and many of the people that I work with are motivated to do one thing, maybe to get away from one thing, and then when we start to clear the sludge, we realise the things that we actually want to go for. And that has got to be one of the most rewarding things of being a coach. So, I'm Possible. Now, I don't normally kind of plug TV programmes or shows or anything else like that, but also very recently I watched something on Amazon called Dealt with a man called Richard Turner, who, if you don't know who Richard Turner is, use a big search engine. Use a big search engine to find out. His name's Richard Turner, and the documentary I watched about him was called Dealt. D for Delta, E-A-L-T. So why am I talking about this and I'm possible? Well, there's a very well-known saying that goes around the internet that says, I'm possible, impossible. The very word itself says, I'm possible. Breathe that in for a moment. What thing or things in your life right now do you want to make possible? And this is a place to start for your Monday motivation. This thing could be something so small that would make the biggest difference. Normally when we talk about hitting our goals and going for the things that we want in life, we think they have to be something massive and huge. Whereas on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis, there's normally something, one very small thing that would make a big difference, almost like the leverage point of that. So if you have had something spring to mind, and it's quite common actually when I'm working with clients for them to have the thing spring to mind and then very quickly discount it and say, oh, no, not that. No, that's too much. So I just want to give you a couple of examples of people who could be saying I'm not possible, but actually do. And one of them is watching this live right now, Alan. Alan has an incredible life story. And, like many of us, we are given opportunities to do things, and we could just say, you know what, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. Alan, in his kind of like coaching height, talks about taking you from rough seas to calm waters. And Alan has got so many examples in his own life of things that people have said, it's not possible, and he's gone, it totally is. Okay, so if you're not part of the Visibility Vibes Tribe, the Facebook group, which you'll find a link onto this video, whether you're watching this on the replay or whether you're watching this over on my YouTube channel, then do click, do join. It's full of, I would say, filled with really like-minded people, soft place to land. They're not sheep, they've all got their own mind. They're all very dynamic in their own way. And quite often people will join and kind of sit and watch what goes on and think, well, am I dynamic enough? It's not that kind of a place. A really soft place to land on Facebook. So Alan is just one example, one life example, and every now and then he'll share his story, because I say things like this and people are like, oh, I'm new to the group, who's Alan, I haven't heard his story. So Alan, feel free to cut and paste and share your story in there as you wish. But you know what, Alan isn't the only amazing person in that group, and that's not to downgrade Alan's story at all. Even with Teresa who's watching, even with Ivona's watching, we've all got our own paths, our own stories that we bring into the world. And I know that sometimes from a personal development point of view, people think a story is a bad thing. It's neither good, it's neither bad. It's what you do with that story. And this is what I found so inspiring about Richard Turner. Now, forgive me because I can't remember the name of the person who did this, but also just these past couple of days, somebody ran a marathon in less than 2 hours. Think about this, over 26 miles in less than 2 hours. And one of the running clubs, which I now belong to, we're talking about measuring out 200 metres, and if you can run it in 30.6 seconds, that was basically the pace that this marathon runner did. Like, think about this. Think about if you had to get in your car and drive for 26 miles from wherever you live, or someone else's car, where it could take you. And now imagine that you're doing that. You're running on foot and you do it in less than 2 hours. I mean, that's amazing. And much like Roger Bannister with his 4-minute mile, I now think that this will open the floodgates for people to say, you know what, this is possible. I'm possible. Let's do this. And I think we're going to see that time, shrink, if I'm honest. So one of the things, and I don't want to do the spoiler alert on Richard Turner's story, but he's known as a card management, I think, is his title. He's given himself a title. He shows people, he demonstrates different card tricks, basically. It's not magic, it's card tricks, and he shows people how to do that. And on paper, there's a very good reason why somebody might say, but I can't do that. So if you watch his story, read his story, get into his story, you'll find out a bit more about how amazing it is. And a few things really sprang out to mind when I was watching this in conjunction with the content for today and thinking of the I'm possible thing. So there's a few things that I'm going to share with you, especially if you're watching this and you've gone, you know what, yeah, there are a couple of things, and here's one specific thing I'd like to start off with, or here's a few things that I would like to do that at the moment feel a bit tough. And talking of which, the other reason why I've become even more interested in this subject, not that I already wasn't, was because last week actually signalled the start of Baby Loss Awareness Week. And for those of you who know my own personal story, it's a subject matter that's close to my heart. Not so much because of the loss part of Baby Loss Awareness Week, but the silence that sometimes shrouds this subject, people who have either lost a baby in pregnancy or unfortunately lost a baby very soon after birth. And if you have been affected by anything similar to that and you want support, here in the UK there's a brilliant organisation called SANDS, which is sands.org.uk, and if you go to their website, there's lots of resources, lots of information, but they also have a phone line as well if you need to speak to somebody. And even if you feel like you can't speak about it, don't know how to speak about it, that is the first place that I would recommend. So it's a subject matter that's very, very close to my heart, and I feel like, given my own subject matter of visibility and being able to put yourself out there in an authentic and real way. I mean, I'm doing these Facebook Lives at 7 a.m. I've been doing it for 3.5 years. I've done over 1,000 videos, most of which have not been in the studio, not been with a teleprompter, not been with a script, not been with any makeup. In fact, my notes are just on my iPad mini here, and I have 5 points that I'm going to share with you in terms of the I'm possible theme. Now, I do run live events, but I don't feel that I have to run a live event to tell you how important it is for you to be visible, for you to raise your profile, for you to put yourself out there. I walk my talk. Yes, in some of the live events I do that. And a lot of the time I do it like this, because if you don't see that I'm quite comfortable being on here, you know, no makeup done, no slick hair. I was going to say no specific flowers in the background, apart from my plant, which I've had for quite a long time. This is going to be 2 years old, this plant, in about 3 or 4 months' time, maybe a bit longer. But the reason that I bring that up is because so many people think when it comes to putting yourself out there, when it comes to being visible, when it comes to raising your profile, when it comes to putting your work out there, that it's difficult or hard, or something inside tells them it's impossible. It's not possible at all, and that's not the truth. So here are a few things that I know can help with whatever it is that you want to make possible. So the first thing is, many people that almost seem like they push past something that seemed hard, they have got a list. Normally they have got a physical list, but they have at least got a mental list of their greatness. So if you have got a list of your greatness, this is going to really help you in times of trouble, almost in times of, I can't do this anymore, for something that might be completely different. Having a list of greatness will really help you push through. And there's lots of different ways that you can have that as an individual. And it depends on the person you are. But having a list of your greatness will really help you to get through, ride the crest of the wave, push past or learn to live with the thing. And I know that from one of my own personal experiences, that's certainly the case. You know, people often come to me and they kind of express a form of feeling like they're stuck, like they need to unstick themselves and move on. And sometimes it's not a case of unsticking yourself or unsticking yourself and moving on. It's a case of unsticking yourself and learning to navigate life with the thing there, because you know, you can't magic it away, it won't change. But you can learn to live with and through a particular scenario or circumstance. Second thing is, when we find inspiration, and it's so funny, social media is so great for looking through the lens of other people's lives. What are they doing? How are they living? What are they celebrating? What's great? What isn't great? And a lot of the time, I'm finding more and more now, people will compare themselves to other people in a way that's sort of like a comparisonitis. And that's not always the healthiest thing for us to do. So look to other people, find the inspiration, emulate the inspiration. And here's what I truly believe. When you find or see inspiration in somebody else, it's because it's already within you. You might not even realise it on that level, and that might make it sound so simplistic, but it's the truth. You know, people often say to me when I share things, gosh, you're so inspiring, or, you're so motivational. And it's not because I intend to be or try to be or even mean to be. It's usually because you have it within you, and because you have it within you, you spot it. As one of my American friends says, you spot it, you got it, you know. And if you can see that in somebody else, it's normally within you too. So your only job is to find the inspiration, stay out of FOMO or fear of missing out, stay out of comparisonitis, and just keep finding your inspiration and inspiring yourself, almost like filling your cup, almost like feeding yourself. Third thing that I've noticed a lot of people will do when they are kind of going through and pushing through, and sometimes not even pushing through, to be honest, but to saying to themselves, I am possible, is they have what I'm going to call ultra gratitude. So, there's lots of books and lots of research, lots of things out there that talk about having gratitude and how gratitude will, physically change how you feel about certain things. And here's something that I'm calling ultra gratitude. And ultra gratitude is acknowledging the greatness in others. So there's gratitude of acknowledging the things that are going through in your life. And then kind of like the next level of gratitude is being able to acknowledge the things that are great in your life, even when other things might not be great on paper. So anything that you might label an adversity or anything else like that. And I think that ultra gratitude is not just owning gratitude in the moment, gratitude when things aren't perfect, but gratitude and acknowledging greatness in other people from a genuine place, not a forced place of, oh, didn't they do well? And this is something that I am privileged to see quite on a regular basis in the Vibe Tribe community. In fact, Ivona, who's on here now, was running a workshop at an event this weekend. And not only did other Vibers come and support her, but I know that she would have changed and impacted people's life in a really, really great way. And what I thought was brilliant about her going there and sharing her gift in the world was that the other Vibers would, from a genuine place of, she was brilliant, she was amazing, she did such a phenomenal job. Think about this, when you are truly acknowledging somebody else, it takes a lot more from within us to be able to do that. You know, unfortunately in our society, it almost seems more natural. When I go out sort of like and do stuff out there in the world, it seems more natural for people to go, oh, go on then, I guess they did all right, you know. It doesn't almost feel like the normal, the most natural position to be in. So, you know, people like Teresa who went and supported her as well. And Teresa and Ivona work in the same industry. So there would have been even more reason for, you know, Teresa to say, I'm not going to do that. It's too close to what I do. And I still see this, even in the personal development world, even in the spiritual development world on a regular basis. But they didn't do that. So when you've got ultra gratitude, it's your ability to acknowledge yourself, to acknowledge yourself even through tough times, and to genuinely and like from the heart, from your gut, to acknowledge somebody else. And, you know, Teresa is saying, you know, Ivona's workshop was fab. You know, she's an incredible relationship specialist. She truly, truly is. She truly, truly is, you know, as is Teresa. And the fact that Teresa can acknowledge her and acknowledge her so publicly as well is, you know, is a lot. You know, I have hundreds of people watch this back, sometimes on the replay, and out of that, I have a handful of people that share this. And sometimes people think, oh, but if I share it, I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm vulnerable, or, well, I'm a coach as well. If I share it, you know, people will go to Jenny's business and not mine. I don't care about stuff like that. I mean, if I see something that inspires me and I feel to share it, I'll share it. You know, whether it's somebody who's in quote unquote in a competitive space to me, does a similar thing to me, I'll still share it. So, you know, and I wasn't always there. So ultra gratitude, when you acknowledge the greatness in others, is, you know, spot on. So point 4, I mentioned before, ultra gratitude even in seemingly different situations. You know, I talk about my own journey with baby loss, and I now call it a gift in ugly wrapping. Not to say that my babies were ugly or anything else like that. It was an immensely tough time, very raw, very real. But even despite all of the things that went on, and yes, I've now got time on my side, but to be honest, I kind of feel like I came out of the gate with the raw emotions of everything, but actually acknowledging the gifts that I had and the gifts that situation or that scenario gave me. And it wasn't I was told to do it. It felt like the place to be. And I know that that's not easy for everybody. And I know that for many of us, we do need help with that. And in some respects, I think I had help from so many different angles. You know, one of my mentors talks about angels walking in many forms. And I really feel like at the time there were so many angels around me that helped me navigate that time too, which like shows me who I am today, makes me a different and a better person today. So even in seemingly difficult situations, gratitude is the attitude. And the 5th thing is, there's something that I say, ironically, in sales training that I provide corporately. And for those of you in the Be Seen Academy, watch the space, because you're going to get a little snippet of that sales training as well. But it's very easy to admire people's successes and say, oh my gosh, how great it is. You know, I didn't get to 3,000 videos by not doing the first one, by not having stood in front of a camera looking like this, thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say, I'm rambling, oh, I hate this, like, how do I remember everything, messing up my words and things like that. So something that is my own quote, weirdly enough, is success only looks good at the end. Success only looks good at the end. And what I mean by that is, once you've hit the place of success in whatever thing it is, once you've hit the place of mastery in whatever thing it is, it looks great from there. But at the beginning, it can look really messy. There is a journey to it, so enjoy the journey, but don't let it define you. And for those of you who are kind of masters of yourself in that way, one of the other reasons that I loved this program I saw about Richard Turner was because he is like the master at what he does. And to this day, he still practices his art anything up to 16 hours a day. He's great with cards, apparently, and you could see it in the documentary, he's never seen without the cards in his hand, and he's practicing. You know how many people come to me and say, oh, I want help with so-and-so, well, I've done this and I've done that bit now. Public speaking is one of them. People often say to me, I was really nervous public speaker and now I'm not. And now I've done that, I've ticked that off my list, I'm off to do something else. And some of the world's best public speakers have never been trained, but they might do something to master their art. They master their art, and that's what's so important. So know that success only looks good at the end, and please feel free to quote me on that. And there is a journey to it. Enjoy the journey. Don't let the journey define you, because a journey will have lots of different paths. Now, just before I read out the comments and finish this off, why did I talk about Baby Loss Awareness Week and gifts in ugly wrapping and all sorts of things like that? Well, Baby Loss Awareness Week in the UK started last Wednesday, the 9th of October, and finishes on the 15th, tomorrow. And as if by magic, many of you would have heard me say over the years that I'm not a runner, and I'm changing that reframe, but I'm not a long distance runner. At school I did lots of short sprints and things like that. And I've always been inspired by people who've run the London Marathon. And I think I tried to enter it in 2003 and got a no. So I just thought, I'm sick of talking about this. There's a time for me to do. And for me, it's something personal. This is very public accountability, because also on Wednesday, I got the email to say, you're in. So the training has started, the nutrition has started. I'm already in a running group and already working with a coach who really specialises in helping people to run marathons, especially when they say to themselves, I haven't run before. I'm not a person, so I go out for a jog for a couple of miles. I've had so many friends say, come out running with me. You know what I'm doing? I'm sticking to the programme. For the first 30 days, I'm listening to this person, and I'm going to, take on board the things that she's saying, but actually do it. Once I've done that and got my running groove on, then I'll go out running with my friends and, all of that. But until that point, I, at best, would love to walk the marathon. Even better, would like to run some of the marathon. And my ultimate goal would be to run the whole thing. So I'm even more inspired about what's possible. So just going back and reading the comments. So after Teresa said that Ivona's workshop was fab, Ivona comments about the love in the Vibe Tribe is unbelievable. It really is. People talk about, social media and how it can be a harsh or tough place. But I find in the group it is like off the charts. And Teresa is also a first-class relationship coach, and she loves working with her. So these two have collaborated, How cool is that for ultimate acknowledgement and ultimate visibility? And Ivona's also given me props for the Be Seen Academy. It's like a bit of a best-kept secret, isn't it, Ivona? It's funny because I talk about it and I love the nuggets and things that are shared in there. And there's lots of really valuable resources in there that can help you get through kind of on a day-to-day basis. Some as little as like 10 minutes of, watching a video, having a checklist or a worksheet and being able to move forward. So, some of them are as small as that. But you know what? There's a nice tribe of people in there, and I really love it. So thank you for being part of that as well. And thank you for saying that. Teresa's thanking us all. This is exciting for you, Jenny. Go smash that marathon goal. Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? No point of reference. I'm excited. I'm still excited, like days later. I'm still really excited. Motivated and focused, and I know that could wane. So I'm doing what I can to prepare for the journey ahead. And it's interesting because I think it was only last week on one of these videos where I was talking about the real life metaphors. You know, I talked about my toothache and my learnings from that. And I've said it'd be interesting to see what other real life metaphors there are. And hey ho, along comes a marathon, which I'm sure is going to be quite life changing in itself. Thank you so much for watching this. Please don't keep this a secret. Please share this with other people. You never know who needs a bit of motivation, who might be going through something, who might even need to just watch Dealt, which I think was on Amazon Prime. But, you know, and I'm sure there's other places that you can watch that, but it's the most fascinating documentary. Anyone who, especially if you're a people person, you work with people, therapist, coach, or anyone else like that, will absolutely adore watching Richard Turner. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those of you who share this, and thank you for those of you who watch back on the replay, and thank you for those of you who watch through YouTube too as well. I'm always gobsmacked, for want of a better expression, by the time a week comes around, like how many hundreds of you have watched this like nugget of information, which is really inspired for your Monday, your morning, or your week. But anytime you need some motivation, you know, tap into that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your lovely comments. Thank you, Teresa. And she's saying, thank you for another inspiring live. Thank you so, so much. Thanks to Ivona and to Alan who watched live. Thank you for those of you that have hopped on, hopped off, or hopped on and just wanted to sit and observe. Thank you so much. Bye for now.